So, towards the end of 2018, I went and spent 2 months abroad in Europe, traveling all over the show. And the cool thing is, I came back with more money in my pocket than when I left. And here's how I did it. What's up, guys? My name's Josh. I'm a 19-year-old, built a bunch of pages on Instagram, and now I'm teaching you how I did it with a bunch of videos about growing on Instagram, social media, and making money online. So make sure you smash that subscribe button if you want to see more of this, and leave a like on the video. Also, if you want to learn about Instagram, I made a free ebook, so go and grab that down in the top link of the description. So I went to London, Paris, Brussels, Vienna, Prague, Barcelona, about 10 different cities in Germany, and I even topped it off by stopping by in Bali for 2 weeks on the way home as well. It was an incredible experience, and the best part is I made more money than I was spending while I was traveling. And for those of you who aren't aware, I live in New Zealand, so that's the other side of the world for me. Now, this is due to a couple of main factors. Firstly, I was traveling. I wasn't holidaying. And this makes a huge difference, even though they may seem pretty similar to a lot of people. For a holiday, many people may go to a resort which is $300 a night and do a bunch of extra activities and spend $4,000 on a week's holiday. Add on flights, and you could be looking at $5,000 to $6,000 for a week to 10 days away, depending on where you go and where you're coming from. Now, for me, I traveled much cheaper. I stayed in private rooms in hotels, I stayed in Airbnbs, and sometimes I stayed at hostels, mostly in a private room though, because I do love my private space. And this usually cost me closer to $50 US a night rather than $300 like some sort of resort may charge. And my activities that I was doing were mostly free. It was exploring the city, it was enjoying the culture, it was meeting people in these cities and going on adventures with them. It was enjoying the cities and doing lots of cool things that you could most of the time do for free, going and looking at the history, at the architecture, enjoying the lakes and oceans and beaches and this sort of stuff here that a lot of tourists do. And going on plenty of spontaneous adventures with new friends that I made along the way. I tended to stay away from the tourist traps, and that kept my costs very, very low. Even though I still had an absolutely incredible time, I wouldn't have increased my happiness by spending a bunch of money on a bunch of, typical touristy sort of things. I just enjoyed the cities, enjoyed the culture, enjoyed the architecture, the landscapes, going and seeing different things, going out partying, that sort of stuff there, and I had an absolute ball. So the total cost from memory it cost me about 5,000 US for 8 weeks in Europe, and that comes out to about 7,500 New Zealand dollars at the time. It's a little bit higher now. And that was a very comfortable budget. Like, I was staying in not nice places, but private rooms, so I always had my own space. I wasn't in like big shared rooms. I had nice food. I enjoyed my stay, and I even had a few first class train tickets, because if it was only $5 or $10 more, and I could get some work done on there because it gave me faster Wi-Fi for 4 or 5 hours, more room, etc. It was totally worth it. Now, flights on top of this were about $2,000 New Zealand, which is about $1,200 US, and the trip in Bali was paid for because I was speaking at an event there for a marketing event. But keeping your costs reasonable is only one part of the equation, because even that, if I did that, that would still cost me $6,000 to $7,000 US for like 8 to 10 weeks living the way that I did when I was traveling. The second factor, which is important to note, is that I was running an online business whilst I was traveling. And this meant that while I was spending money while traveling, I had money coming in. Now, this is super important to being able to travel and make money while you're traveling, is have some sort of remote job, whether it be your own business or whether it be working for someone, but being able to travel with it. Now, this is because if you have a regular job where you're tied to a location, then as soon as you start traveling, your savings go down until eventually you have to come back, go back to work, and go make some more money. Now, to save up the amount of money this cost me, it could take some people 1, 2, or even 3 years, especially if you were at the age I was of 18. It could take a long time to do so. Many people may save through high school to be able to do that, and it's still totally worth it, but there can be better alternatives. But on the other hand, if you set it up so that you're making an income while you're traveling, along the way. And if that income can be decent, then as long as you're spending less than you're generating, you can essentially travel for as long as you choose until you want to go back to the regular life. Now, depending on your income and the locations that you choose to go and travel to, you could even save money. And this is what I was able to do. I actually saved money whilst I was traveling by doing this, by having a decent income and spending less than I was making. And now you might be asking, what is it that you did? What sort of things you did? Well, essentially, I run an Instagram marketing agency. So I was helping clients build and monetize their pages on Instagram whilst I was traveling. I was setting up influencer promotions. I was getting content created. I wasn't personally making it. I had someone else doing that. I was managing pages for people. All this going, as well as a couple of my own pages in which I did some affiliate marketing on and got paid for that. I got paid commissions for different products that I was selling for different people. Now, so essentially what this would look like for me is each morning I would wake up, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, get my computer, go find a local coffee shop or Starbucks or something like that where they had decent internet. A lot of the places that I was staying did not have good internet. And so then I would go and get my work done for 3-4 hours or so, get on top of that, and then go out and explore the city lunchtime onwards, afternoon, evening, etc. Go and do cool stuff and enjoy myself. And even when I was working, it was still cool because you could be around the culture and so on. And on top of this, another thing I did was I often booked first class when I was traveling by train. I didn't really fly much. I was mostly going by train. And so I would often spend the extra $5 or $10 to get upgraded into first class, which meant that I had way more space, way more room, and usually better Wi-Fi, which meant that I could get my work done whilst I was traveling. And it was really good because you can see the countryside. It is nice and relaxed on a train. You literally show up at the train station 5 minutes before your train goes. You get on and you go to the next destination while you're getting some work done, rather than the stress of air travel. So in summary, I was able to put money into my savings while traveling by running an online business which generated more than I was spending. Now, I wasn't spending lots in comparison to what some people may spend. To some people, it may seem like lots. And so for me, I was generating more than I was spending, and that meant that I had some left over to save and invest, which is exactly what I did. Another good thing that I actually did, which saved me a bit of money, which meant I could save more, is I stayed with a few people that I knew along the way. Now, most of these people were people that I'd met through school. We had a few international students, so I stayed with a few of those. One of them that stayed with me, some that I met through football playing school. And I even stayed with a few people that I'd met, or one person, that I'd met online in a small town in Germany that was like a friend of a friend sort of thing. Now, don't get me wrong, to set up an online business which is going to pay you more than $4,000 per month, which is going to allow you to travel, or you could travel off much less depending on where you're going. If you go to Bali or somewhere like that, then it's going to take a bit of time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. You're not going to be able to start an Amazon FBA store and 3 weeks later you're making thousands of dollars a week profit. Neither are you going to be able to do that with Instagram, social media marketing agencies, whatever. It's going to take time, but in the end, it's worth it, because if you can generate a cool income, travel, and do what you love, surely sacrificing a year or 2 years could be totally worth it. Now, that's not the sexiest thing I can sell to you, telling you it's going to take you a couple years, but it's just the truth. It's just what's going to take time to create something like this. But the way I like to look at it is time passes anyway. So if you're in high school, if you're working, whatever age you might be, the time's going to pass anyway, so you might as well put some time away every single day into building something which in the future will help you, whether that be an income, learning a new skill, learning a new language, whatever it might be. I think it's always good to be putting some time every single day towards bettering yourself. Now, another thing that I want to add is the way that I traveled was much more expensive than a lot of people would. For example, you could go to Bali and easily live off $1,000 a month. What I did is I was literally in places for like 3 to 4 days, went to the next spot, 3 to 4 days, went to the next spot, and I would highly recommend not doing this. This was really tough on me because it meant that I didn't have lots of time in every place. It meant I was constantly on the move. It meant I was constantly staying in different Airbnbs, different hotels with different people, with different languages, with different cultures. And it made things much harder. So I think if I were to do this again, I would stay in places for 2 to 6 weeks, maybe even longer, which means that you can get sort of settled in. You know where you can go and get some work done. You know the best places to go get good food. You can just have a bit more of a routine, and it's a bit less draining on your body, because when you're tired from constantly being on the move, you don't work as hard, and I definitely noticed my income did drop. Now, I figured it would be pretty rough if I made this video, talked about how you can travel and make an online income, if I didn't actually give you guys some resources of how you can create an online income. So I'm going to list a few of those here. Now, firstly, if you want to learn how to do it on Instagram, I'm going to list my free ebook down below, which you can get. After you get the ebook, there will be a page where you can get my full course on Instagram. It is paid, you don't have to go through it, but it will really help you take things to the next level. At the moment, the current price is $197, so it's not some crazy expensive one like you see many gurus talking about, and that basically go through everything I know about Instagram. So if you are interested in that, there will be a link down below. Now, if you want to learn e-commerce, don't waste your time with all these $2,000 courses and all these gurus running ads. What I would do is go onto YouTube, which you're obviously already on, search a guy called Verum Ecom. I'll put a screenshot of his channel up here, and another guy, Chris Conradi. Now, these two both have entire videos, which is basically a course on their YouTube channels, which is all about e-commerce, and it is way better than just about any other paid courses I've seen. It's entirely free and it's on YouTube, so I would go and have a look at that. It's amazing. Also, if you do grab my ebook down below, I'll send you emails every few days with some of my best tips, some of my best tricks, and I'll link you back to some of my best YouTube videos as well, so that's definitely worth going to. Now, I hope this video helped you, gave you a bit more clarification as how I can travel and generate an income while doing so. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you smash the like button, leave a subscription down below, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out if you like and subscribe. Comment any videos you want me to make, and I will see you guys in the next video sometime soon. Also, next time when I do head to Europe, I may film a lot more of it now that I'm doing a bit of stuff on YouTube. So if you want to see that, just tell me in the comments. That'd be much appreciated. But anyway, see you guys in another video sometime soon.